This is James Lupton for Round 8 Boxing. Delighted to be sponsored by Upton Clan Builders. And I'm joined today with Craig Spider Richards. Craig, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, always good. Just always grafting in the gym, head down. How
Always.
you been? You been good?
All good, mate. All good. Same old, grafting like yourself, working away.
Mm.
Um, you know how it is. We've not done this for a long time now, Craig. We know how it works.
Come on, we've been around for a long time now.
That's it. That's it. Um, Listen, I've got you on today to talk about Beterbiev and Bivol. Obviously, you fought Bivol, you sparred Beterbiev quite recently. So I want to ask you, first of all, how do you describe the intensity and the physicality of the two?
Um, Bivol more of a sharp, fast shooter. Beterbiev more solid, rough, not as fast, but more intense in terms of like he's solid and just keeps that solid work going throughout the rounds. And the thing with Beterbiev, how he starts is how he finishes. So if you've got any chinks in your armor, if you can't take a shot, if you're not durable, you're not strong, you're not got fitness, you ain't done your road work, he will find you out between 1 to 12. There'll be no hiding place. He will get to you and find out your the chinks. And when he gets onto you, he'll stay on you. Where Bivol, he's just so sharp. If your reflexes ain't there, your IQ boxing's not there, and your reflex and speed's not there, he will like just annihilate you and outbox you because his hands are so quick. He's so clever and he's very disciplined in what he does.
See, Beterbiev's got the high knockout ratio. Do you feel that power difference between the two? Do you feel his strength during the rounds?
Yeah, I feel like he looks to the land the haymakers at times. Like he boxes for a bit to put you in, set you up for a haymaker, where Biffle's happy to just hit you with 70% from 1 to 12 consistently, enough for you to earn his respect and enough for him to rack those points up. And if you do anything silly, he will get you out. But if you don't, he's just happy to see it out through 12. Where Baterva is a bit different, where he's looking for that knockout, whether you're making mistakes or not. He's trying to force you into positions to get that knockout to get an early night.
What does that say about their mentalities that Bivol's happy to cruise through and I suppose, just like you say, rack up the rounds, rack up the points and cruise through it, whereas Beterbiev wants to make sure he takes it out of the judge's hands.
I feel like he based a lot of his boxing on strength conditioning and being more tougher and durable than most Peterbiev. And Bivol obviously bases his on being smarter, faster than his opponents. But at the same time, to sell that to say Batavia's a lot more disciplined and got a higher IQ than people may think, in the sense of maybe not like with his punch selection or whatever, but still his positioning, where he puts you, where he plays chess. He might do two, three moves to set you up for later on in that round or the next round. Um, People just think he's just one brute force, which ain't actually true. If you watch when he fought Joe Smith Jr., who is a strong brute force. He then went on the back foot and counterpunched him to get a knockout in the second round. It wasn't just like a head-on-head car crash. He then took the back foot and set him up for counter punches, and it was very clever. Same with Bivol. He'll box to the back foot, in and out, in and out. But the moment you start retreating, he'll be on you, throwing combinations. So they both do a bit of what each other does. Their focus is more on their different strengths. He focuses more on his speed and boxing. He focuses more on the knockout and his aggression. But they both have got good IQ and they both can punch with reasonable force and both very clever and very disciplined in their own ways.
You mentioned that Beterbiev's IQ might be a little bit underrated because of the fact he does knock most of his opponents out. Talk to me about footwork. You mentioned that Beterbiev will set you up for the knockout, later on, potentially two, three, 4 rounds down the line. Talk
Yeah.
about footwork. Is Beterbiev's footwork underrated?
Yeah, because the thing is with him, although he might seem a bit flat-footed as when he's boxing, etc., he'll find different ways in the sense of if he ain't getting to you, he might lure you and he plays possum. You catch him with a shot, he'll retreat like you've caught him with something good to get you excited, to lure you in onto a big shot rather than chase you. That's one of his smart. He'll old man you. He'll draw you in. Then he might hold you, turn you. Now he's got you in the corner and start hammering you. He does, but because just from I'm also a boxing fan as well as a boxer. So like I've watched him over the years. So like for example, if I was sparring him or if I was fighting him, I would know if I backed him up, maybe throw 1, 2, 3 shot combination, create my distance, maybe have another go, create my distance, rather than be hasty, get stuck in, get overexcited, and get clipped. Um, but that's just my experience, in the sense of I'm an experienced elite fighter myself. So I can't understand the game of playing possum, and elite fighters do that. Canelo also does the same thing sometimes. If you saw when he fought Liam Smith, he couldn't get the success he needed. He backed up on the ropes, found the body shot um, in that fight. So they'll do things to make you think you're in control, give you a false sense of security, um, to draw you where they need you.
Well, this is why I wanted you to come on, Craig, because obviously I know you're a student in the game. I know you live and breathe boxing. I mean, I'm very certain that after you hang your gloves up in the future, there's a future for you as in a punditry role, because you do know your stuff.
It's
Um,
funny you say that. Someone literally asked me today, like, when you finish boxing, what would you do? I started giving them a few ideas, and they said, you know what, I really think you need to do punditry work and get into the punditry after boxing. And then it's ironic. I just come on and then you told me the exact same thing. Maybe you need to start putting some application CVs in for me from now.
well, I mean, I thought it's a long time. You know, so we've known us for a long time, Craig, and you've always been very meticulous in your studying. And like I say, it's not just studying your opponents. I remember years ago down the gym, we're talking about how you going back on talking about watching Floyd Mayweather on the 24/7 on the HBO, and you
Yeah,
proper just enjoy it as much as
yeah.
you know.
Then he moved from the 24/7s to the all accesses. I've been watching these for many, many years. There's sort of things what showed you the fun side of boxing as well, and the insight, and it showed you the training methods, characters, etc. And I think it's quite important. I think sometimes it's what boxing miss sometimes, for this day and age of boxing. I think the build up behind the scenes leading up to big fights, all access and 24/7, is something what needs to come back.
And it's mad, isn't it, now that we're in the social media day and age, but you still miss out on that side of things.
100%. I feel like with the proper cameras in the gym, watching them, seeing them doing their runs, seeing what their little bit of home life's like, it kind of creates a bigger picture for you, seeing how much they've sacrificed leading up to them fight nights. So it makes you think, oh, he's put a lot in. Oh, he's put a lot in. Oh, I now want to see who's going to win this fight. It creates that interest, don't it?
100%. I'll tell you next time, next fight for you, Craig, we'll come down with the cameras and we'll set it up for you.
Let's get an all access. You know what? That's what I'm doing. My next fight, all access.
100%. Tell me one thing that surprised you about each fighter, Beterbiev and Bivol, something that you probably didn't fully appreciate until you was there with them.
Um, Beterbiev is smart in the sense of he knows his reputation and he plays on it with certain fighters. I watched a fighter sparring him and he wasn't doing much. He was just fainting and fainting and fainting him. And the guy was so uptight, worried about the power that was coming. Beterbiev never really even threw much, but round one he was exhausted. He went to the corner, but it's because he had him so tense. I said to the fighter, relax, yeah. And I noticed even with his boxing in Saudi, and I saw before Beterbiev meet and the way Beterbiev walked in the room with his presence, he was acting angry and moving around. I was like, he knows how to play in the character of the beast, so he gets to you before he gets to you. Um, Bivol, although you see him on the camera, he's got quite a straight face. He's such a nice guy. He's like the opposite. He's really nice. He's friendly. We crack a lot of jokes when we see each other. We banter a lot. We banter about fighting against like his character's quite chilled. He's chilled. He's quite funny. He's easygoing. And the one thing I realize what makes him me so like for example, sometimes in my career I've had some performances where I've not performed that well. And well, sometimes when I've looked at opponents, well, and I've not had the discipline to go take every fight as serious as each other. Where these guys don't really do that. They never go, oh. Like when I boxed Bivol, I thought he was gonna go, oh, like he just won the British. And when I heard his interviews, like, oh, this guy, he's tricky, he's got a nice style, he's awkward, he's got a good jab, da 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 da. And I was like, fuck, why is he giving me rate? No, you're meant to overlook me. But they take everyone as serious as each other and they really do their due diligence and sit down. They don't trick themselves. They're proper like students of the game. They're switched on, they're disciplined, and it shows their experience. These guys had like 300 to 400 amateur fights each. They've been in it for ages. So yeah, that's things that I've really noticed about the pair of them.
It's like you mentioned there, obviously, Beterbiev's got that almost Mike Tyson-esque scare factor. And
Yeah.
I mean, Bivol give you a birthday cake the day before you fought him.
Do you go with me? That's what I mean. He gave me a birthday cake the day before. But that's what I was saying. Like the other day, I was talking about it when I first saw him. He tried to do the half standoffish thing, but where I walked up to him and I've just broke it, like "you're all right," and shook his hand because he's naturally a nice guy. He's gonna embrace you back. Where he's not like, "Don't shake my hand, we're fighting." He'll just be like, "Oh, you're all right." His natural self just came out, and that's when I realized. Oh, he's actually a nice guy. Even when we spoke after the fight, when we see each other now, it's always like, even when I see his wife and I saw his kids, it it's always like a good vibe. It's like, oh, how are you? Yeah, they're just nice people.
When you approached him, when he was giving you the hard face and you approached him and said, "Oh, how you doing?" I broke the ice a little bit. Why was that? Was that just because that's just you naturally, or was that mind games from your part?
A little bit of mind games because I was like pretending that I was doing the same. So then he's in character now. He's turned around to eat, and now the same guy who's just mean mugging you across the canteen taps you on the shoulder. So it's like, now I know you don't know how to take me because he's like, I thought we was like, where are we? I was having fun with it because for me, as I always say, we're gonna fight at the end of the week. So if I mean mug you, I'm happy. We're still gonna get in there and try and take each other's head off. It doesn't matter the build up. So for me, I just have fun that week because I know I'm still going there with the same assignment and the same task. It's the same thing when you're in the gym and someone comes down to spar. Oh, how's training been? You shake hands, you laugh, you might be skipping. When the bell goes, you're swinging for each other. And it's for me, it's the same as fight night. Like it's not that serious.
That's his business once the first bell goes, and before and after, it's respect, isn't it?
Always. It's always respect for them. You know, once that bell goes, you've got a job to do. And then afterwards, it's like you respect the man who's got in there with you, especially he puts a good account for himself in that ring. He's had a hard 12-week camp or whatever. He's been away from his family. He's done what he needs to do, made the sacrifices. And there's just mutual respect because you've gone in there, two gladiators, two warriors, giving it everything. Win, lose, or draw, you can only respect the man on the other side of the ring.
We'll talk about their sort of mental approaches, obviously to a fight or to a spar between the two of them there. For you, did you feel the difference between the two in terms of presence in the ring when you maybe made your ring walk or waiting for them to come into the ring, and when they approached you when the referee's giving you your rules and regulations before the fight? Did you feel that presence? How did you feel before the first bell rang?
Um, I feel like the same thing. Like when we first sparred, like when I sparred Beterbiev, for example, he knows I'm his weight. He knows I'm on the way up there. They always, when you're on the same weight as someone, they come into your gym. They obviously want to always set a precedence to let you know this is my weight. I'm the champion. So I'm in there thinking you're gonna understand. I'm not a sparring partner. Like I've come here to spar you. Couples come here to spar you, but really, I'm not like I'm a contender. I don't usually come to spar in someone else's camp, and I kind of want you to understand that I'm here to spar because I've got nothing else to do, but I'm not here someone just to make up numbers. Like I'm someone in the division. And I feel like we kind of had that respect by the end of the 3 weeks, like, yeah, you know what you're doing. And it's like, yeah. And then with Bivol, I kind of went in there like not green, a little bit more green at the time. Just won the British title, never been at world level. Not only I've stepped up to world level or even fringe world level, I've got the pound for pound, one of the pound for pound top tens in any weight, number one in my weight for my first assignment to test world level. So first few rounds as everyone sees in the fight. So I'm still just boxing, figuring him out, working on seeing what his strengths and weaknesses are. Obviously you can watch someone a million times, but it can be different in there. And then by the time I got to grips with it, like, oh, I'm meant to be here. I am this good. I've worked it all out. Yeah, I've got this. And started pressing the action. Felt like I was doing I felt like I was the scorecards. I was just a bit more up than I thought I was, but I was still obviously 1.5 rounds short that night. But it was like if I registered or been there before and started a little bit earlier, obviously the result could have been different. But I take nothing away from it. Everything happens for a reason. It was a great experience that night. He's a great champion. But I learned a lot about myself that night. And also when I sparred Beterbiev, obviously I changed gyms. I got told to change the style. I also got told I didn't need to train as hard. I weren't doing no conditioning runs, anything. And I wasn't sure about it. And I really was second guessing myself going into the fight because I didn't feel good in sparring, wasn't performing for the first time in the gym. I'm sparring partners I've sparred loads of times and never had any sort of issues with them at all. Now I'm getting caught by shots from them leading up to the camp, gone into the fight, well underperformed, didn't even recognize myself. And I was kind of like, what's going on here? And then I've gone back to the gym, locked in, started getting back onto doing my conditioning rounds, started going back to my old style. So when I got the call from Beterbiev, it wasn't only because obviously it's paid work, it was more 'cause I need to see if I'm back to where I need to be in terms of world level. Now I'm back doing what I'm doing. Have I bridged back that gap? So when I went into that spar with him and I was doing well, it was more a reassurance for me, you're back. Oh, you're back. You know where you're going wrong. And then that built my confidence back up as a fighter. And then I knew what I needed to do. And then not too long, fast forwarding afterwards, went back to the matching gym to get back to my old style, get back to my old conditioning stuff, and got the call from a Corey 6 weeks. Do you want to fight Ireland? Of course. I'm feeling myself. I'm always in the gym anyway. I'm feeling myself. I'm sparring well again. Gone back in there. I thought I need to show people I'm back. Went in there, showed everyone I was back, won every round, got the stoppage at eighth round. I'm like, cool. So then it's like, right, build off that. You need to have a couple of performances where people go, oh, it literally was an off night. Different style, different gym, different camp. He's back in his old stuff. He's back. That's what the thought process is. Obviously, got fast forwarded just then, but reversing back, that's what the thought process was from when I got the call for the Beterbiev camp. Once I ticked that box, I did get a call again. They asked me to come help for the Bivol 2, but now I'm refocused on myself. As I said, not a sparring partner. I'm like, I did that because that's the position I was in. I needed for myself at the time. Now I'm not here just to be helping people with camps. I've got my own career to focus on. And I didn't go the second time. I just zoned in.
Absolutely. Um, Remind me, was when you fought Bivol, was that super middle or was that a light heavy?
No, it was light heavyweight.
Was it
Light
light?
heavyweight, yeah. Because I just won the British light heavyweight title
That's it.
and I literally fought the next fight
Straight in the deep end.
right in the deep end. You couldn't get deeper than that.
Obviously, you mentioned you was a bit green at the time. Obviously, you again a big jump up, as you just say there, from the British title to a pound for pound, the best in the division. For you, obviously now with experience, with what you've gone through as well, I suppose, where you've changed camps and realised that that's not the right move for you. You've
Yeah.
gone back, you've fixed that, you've gone with Beterbiev, you've gone actually, yeah, okay, cool, I'm back here. For you, obviously these guys are still top of the division, Bivol and Beterbiev. These are the guys that you'll be chasing. These are the guys that you want to fight. Who do you think suits your style more? Or who do you think your style gels well with more in terms of a fan-friendly fight?
Fan friendly fight. Um, I feel like when me and Bivol are quite like when we box, we both um like we can both be boxing with IQ. We'll set you up. We'll do things that people might not necessarily see. So footwork, feints, foot pressure, little things that he'll know what I'm doing. I know what he's doing, but the fans might not. And the casuals may want to see just a glove swinging. And I think when you box someone like, if I box someone like Baterva, for example, the casuals will be more interested because you have no choice but to engage and have a bar burner at times. Although you'll be boxing, but there'll be times that you have no choice that he's going to force the action, you're going to force the action in between spelts of boxing. So for a fan friendly, maybe the Batervia fight, well, every fight he's in is always going to be um, exciting. Where Bivol will nullify you more. He may be harder in terms of thinking IQ wise, but the fans ain't here to see that. So it's like, I'm gonna give you an example. Shakur Stevens, one of the best fighters currently. So good IQ, boxing distance, but the casuals don't want to see that. But like as a boxing purist, you enjoy watching that. But like Javante Tank Davis might just get the knockout, but that's what the casuals want to see. Like it's when you look at the errors, if you ask a lot of fighters who's your favorite heavyweight of all time, they might say Mike Tyson. But if you look at Lennox Lewis, boxing genius, worked behind the jab, way better resume, achieved more, people pick Tyson over him because it's not just a barn burner. It's just not an aggressive knockout. So as a fighter, you half know that when you're in them sort of fights, the fans love them. Although it's not meaning you're boxing your best because the whole boxing's hit and not be hit. So you want to come out with less damage as you can and deliver as much damage as you can without taking punishment. A lot of them barn burners, you're taking punishment as well as him. You just got to deliver more than he delivered to you. So yeah.
As a fighter, do you feel under pressure from the fans to perform, put on a knockout, put on a performance like that, where you may potentially be more suited to sitting back and picking your opponent off, a bit like you said, Bivol does, where he just cruises through it?
You know what? Do you see like fighters like Bivol, Usyk, these sort of guys. The reason they can always perform so well is because the pressure's never on them. When you're boxing in your hometown, you're here to entertain your crowd. When you get in someone's backyard, that's not your job. So you can sit back and do what you want. They've got to force the action. And I remember going into Ireland, 11,000, sold out. He's from Ireland, his hometown. I went in the ring thinking, your job's to entertain. I can do what I want today. You're going to force the action to make mistakes. So your job's to entertain your crowd. And I kind of then understood why champions like going in other people's backyards and beating them because it takes the pressure off of them. So it depends on who's the home fighter, whose job it is to entertain.
Absolutely. Just last question from me, Craig. Back to Beterbiev Bivol. Obviously, one apiece at the moment. He's getting on a bit in terms of time. I know Bivol has been injured. Beterbiev's getting no younger. However, we are seeing fighters at the top end at elite level who are getting on to their later years, late 30s, coming into their 40s. If they are to fight again in the trilogy, who do you back to come out victorious?
It's a 50-50, but you'd have to probably favor towards Bivol just because of the state. How I look at boxing in the sense of fighters, it's not about their age, it's more about their mileage. And when you look at guys like Crawford, Usyk, they haven't taken a lot of damage. So that's why at 38 they're getting better. And I feel like 38, 39, Paterno was still at the top of his game. He's reached 49, just came off a few injuries. Um, and he has had nearly 400 amateur fights, and now he's had a lot of tough fights in the pro game. I feel like the clock might start to run up for him. He might just hit over that 100,000 miles on the dashboard now. So I feel like he could be slowing a little bit down, where Bivol's still kind of in his prime. So that's why you'd have to now favour towards Bivol.
And then we'll have to fight you.
There we go. Then I can take all the belts.
Perfect. Spider, always a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Good speaking to you.
And you, mate.